Alright, so it was September 2019 when I decided to start the free trial for my Epidemic Sound subscription, and I've been using it ever since now. It's been over a year, and so far here's how my experience has been with the subscription based service. Now, before I get into the pros and cons and the actual review of Epidemic Sound, here's a short story about how I ended up using Epidemic Sound, because as a new creator, as an aspiring creator, you might think, why should I pay for Epidemic Sound or any other services like subscription based services like MusicBed when I can get copyright free music right from YouTube? Like, there are multiple channels where you can get your copyright free music from, which makes sense, but here's how it went for me. So I've been doing YouTube since 2016. Back in the days, I didn't really know much about copyright and the issues related with that. So I used to just download any song from the internet and I used to just snap it onto my video, and that was just about that. Until I started receiving a lot of claims and I realized that a lot of my videos are not really making any money at all. That's when I came across copyright and the overall terms and conditions of YouTube and everything. And that's when I also discovered channels like NCS, where you can get copyright free music for your videos. And yes, NCS even today is by far the most reliable source to get your copyright free music from. But after using NCS for a year or so, I decided to not use music from NCS, because the thing with NCS is that they have this general vibe to their music tracks which is more or less electronic, and my videos, I don't really like them to be that much electronic. I don't really like that vibe on my videos. So that is the reason I started looking for other channels. That's when I came across channels like Audio Library or Vlog No Copyright Music. I started using music from these channels. They usually had a certain set of instructions in the description box, like you have to credit the artist and all that kind of stuff, and I was like okay with that. I used to get music from these channels, I used to use them in my videos. And by the way, the music that I used to use from these channels, it wasn't really the absolute best track for my videos, but still, because it was free, I was like pretty satisfied with that. So I used to credit the artist, I used to credit the channel, I used to link the source video in my description, and it was all going fine. Until one day in 2019, one day I just woke up and I saw a lot of emails from YouTube. And when I went on to read those emails, I found out that not just one or two, but 9 of my videos have received copyright claims. And at this point, I was a little bit disappointed, because those videos were actually doing really good in terms of numbers. And secondly, I had done everything on my side, on my behalf. I credited the artist, I did everything the video or the channel asked me to do in order to use this music, and it was more specifically written in the description box of those videos that you can use this music for your videos and you can monetize them. So I started wondering about what exactly went wrong with me using this so-called copyright free music. So after talking to a couple of people, I realized that the problem with these music tracks is that there are like a lot of artists involved, there are a lot of things involved in making these music tracks. So even if one person who was involved in that process decides to jump out of the copyright free thing, he can actually claim that particular music or that particular part. And that's when I thought of actually paying for music in my videos. And the obvious first name was Epidemic Sound, because Epidemic Sound has been pretty popular and most creators use that, so I thought let's just give it a try. By the way, huge shout out to Gadgetshieldz. Gadgetshieldz actually makes some of the great quality skins and screen protectors for your smartphones. If in case you just don't like the way your phone looks, or if in case you don't really want to use a case on your phone but you're still worried about scratches, so in that case, skins can help you quite a lot. And if it's about skins, I would just highly recommend Gadgetshieldz. I've been using their products for a while and they've been like really good. So make sure to visit the link in the description box below. So I started my free trial for Epidemic Sound. Now, when I first started using Epidemic Sound, my expectations were quite unrealistic. My expectations were somewhat like, now that I have a subscription based service, I'll be able to get the absolute best tracks for all of my videos every single time, and it won't really take me long to find the right track for my videos. But when I started using Epidemic Sound, I realized that it's not simply possible. Like back in the days, I'm not going to lie, Epidemic Sound was good, but it was not really that much great, and most of the times I felt that it's simply not worth it. It's just my opinion, because a lot of times I had to dig in quite a lot to find the right track for my videos. But after that, Epidemic Sound has gone through some serious changes. They have pretty much revamped the entire website and the entire platform, if you would like to call it. And right now, it's actually much better than before. So here are the pros and cons. that I can actually think of, or pros and cons according to me, of Epidemic Sound. So starting with the pros, the first thing that comes to my mind is that I don't honestly have to worry about copyright issues anymore, which is pretty obvious, like that's what you're paying for. But yeah, still, my life after that copyright incident, after I started using Epidemic Sound, has been a little bit stress-free because yeah, I don't really have to worry about tracks and everything. Secondly, Epidemic Sound allows you to download music or to download the entire track in forms of stems. For example, there are, you can think of stems as different parts of the track. For example, there will be vocals, there will be instruments, there will be bass, there will be drums, and all of these parts will be divided and you will be able to download them individually as well. For example, let's say there's a particular song that you find on Epidemic Sound, but you just want the instrumentals of that sound, or if you just want the vocals of that sound. So you will be able to extract exactly the vocals or instruments, the thing that you want to use in your videos, and you can actually use it individually for your videos. Thirdly, the thing that I like the most about Epidemic Sound is sound effects. Now, there are over 64,000 sound effects on Epidemic Sound, and that's just ridiculous. You can get, almost all of your sound effects from Epidemic Sound. Yes, there are certain exceptions though. There have been instances where I was looking for a particular sound effect on Epidemic Sound and I was not really able to find it, but that's just very rare. Most of the times I get all my sound effects from Epidemic Sound, and if you are into sound design, you may already know what I'm talking about. And lastly, the thing that I like the most about Epidemic Sound is it constantly keeps on improving. Now, I've been using the service for a year, so I've seen Epidemic Sound improve every single month. I've seen new tracks being added, I've seen the website getting better, and yeah, overall, this is what you need when you're paying your money. You just don't want it to be very static. You just don't want the same tracks or the very same tracks to pop up onto your feed or to your, search results every single time. So those were the pros that I could think of. Now let's talk about cons. Now, Epidemic Sound firstly starts at $15 a month, which is not really that much cheap. It is still pretty expensive if you are a new creator, or if you are a creator from a country like India where the ad revenue is pretty low. But $15 a month, it's not really a con as such. You can still justify the $15 a month price tag. The bad part, or the part that I don't really like that much, is the fact that you can use music, or you can use music from Epidemic Sound only on one channel. Let's say you have multiple channels, let's say you have 2 channels, you cannot use music from Epidemic Sound on both of your channels. You will have to let Epidemic Sound know about the channel that you want to use your music on. For example, if you have a main channel, and if you use that main channel for your Epidemic Sound subscription, so Epidemic Sound will only allow you to use music on that one channel. And now, like recently, they've also added Instagram and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, still I would have been happy if there was just one more option to add another channel. It would have been just great, but it's not there, and sometimes it is frustrating because yeah, if you want to use good music on both of your channels, then you will have to pay $30 a month, which is not really worth it in my opinion. Now, the second con that I can think of is that you won't be able to find the right music always. And it may come as a pretty obvious thing for a lot of you guys, but listen up. When you are paying for a particular music based service, especially if you don't really earn that much from YouTube in the first place, you might have like really high expectations, where you may expect that the service should be able to provide you with the best music or the right music for every single video of yours. If you go looking for a particular music track or the right music track, you will be able to find it, but it's really difficult at times. Like yeah, there are a lot of tracks, like there's a lot of content, but not all of it is usable in my opinion. I found most of the music tracks to be not so good. Of course that's my taste, and this is of course my side of the story, but yeah, like I just wish that the music selection would have been a little bit more refined in my opinion. So yeah, even though the music library is pretty vast, I just found it to be limiting in most cases. But yeah, that's how it is, and those are the only 2 cons that I can think of. But the question is it worth spending $15 a month into Epidemic Sound? Well, see, here's the thing. If you earn more than $15, $20, $30 every single month, then I feel that you can actually invest $15 a month in Epidemic Sound. But it also depends on the kind of content you are pushing out. If the vibe of your video is not really that much dependent on the music that you use, or in fact, if the vibe of your video is actually electronic, then you can actually go on to NCS on YouTube and you can find good music in there. But if you are someone like me, a little bit conscious about the music in your videos or your music selection and the overall vibe of your video, then in that case, you can go for Epidemic sound. In my opinion, it's pretty worth it. Not like the steal deal type thing, but yeah, it's pretty worth it. But again, all of this applies only if you make more than $15 a month, which is a little bit challenging in the initial days of YouTube. So if you are just starting out, I won't really recommend jumping into Epidemic sound just yet. Just wait a bit, let your channel grow, and then you can actually start paying Epidemic sound. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope this video helped you in some way or the other. If it did, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.